Here we go again! Once again, I'm going to be answering your questions that you sent in on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube using the hashtag AskBen. But first, probably the one thing that I've been asked about the most over the past month or so is my new album, Defying Gravity. If you are watching this video, that means pre-orders are now live from BentleyJones.com. Head on over there now, there is a free pre-order gift with both versions of the album. I will be signing all pre-orders of the CD-DVD version. Just please take a moment to read the pre-order terms and conditions, and we will be announcing the album release date very, very soon, so stay tuned for that. On the edge of your seats! I've got loads more work-related updates that I could talk to you about, but to be honest, I just want to get on and answer your questions. First up, a few questions from the last episode that we couldn't squeeze into the edit, so let's rewind! Carrie has asked, what gets me inspired as a music artist? Pretty much anything. People around me, the experiences that I've had myself, TV, film, books, other music, and it keeps things varied as well, hopefully. Keeping things interested. Interested? Interesting. Keeping things interesting. There we go. Astrid asks, your song Evolve says we are wearing our scars with pride. I understand the message, but self-harming teens sometimes tend to take lyrics like these as a sort of reassurance that cutting is alright. What are your thoughts on self-harming? I think it's such a shame and tragic that someone would feel like they need to do that because they feel like they don't have someone they can talk to about certain issues. If I had a message for anyone in that position, I would say try and reach out to someone. If there's someone that you can trust, that you feel like you could talk to about the issues that you're having. If not, then there are plenty of services and helplines that you can call. Just don't feel like you're at a dead end, because there's always hope and there's always someone who is prepared to listen. Xander says, oh geez, you can probably guess my question. That Miku album, possible? Miku Hatsune is a Vocaloid character. Vocaloid, it's a piece of software that generates a lead vocal that musicians can use in their songs. I have been discussing the possibility of doing a Vocaloid album with my colleagues in Japan. Nothing has come about yet, but I will keep you posted if anything does, I promise. Lee says, hey Ben, how do you think your music has changed or evolved over the years? And Marek has asked, what's the main theme or message that I'm trying to get across with Defying Gravity? Right, I'm going to pause it right there because since the first episode, Ben Gray has also asked, first of all, why you steal my name? But seriously, how do you think your musical style and direction has changed over the years since you first launched? And I've linked all these questions together because I think my answer is going to be quite similar for all of them. With Defying Gravity, I'm establishing to you all where I am right now, and it's very much a statement, taking the title very, very literally. And if my music has changed over the years, and you guys can let me know whether you think so or not, it's because I'm always striving to improve myself on all aspects of my work, including my production arrangements, songwriting, vocals, performance, even my image. My music is always going to change based on my influences at the time, and I hope my style has evolved to stay current as well. Evolve. Right, on with some new questions! Iyaka says, are you planning to get married soon since you've given a hint on the video? Right, hopefully you guys can help me and point this out because I have absolutely no idea what hint I supposedly gave away. And this has been quite a hot topic of conversation online as well as amongst my family and friends for absolutely no reason whatsoever. No, I have absolutely no plans on getting married anytime soon. Yes, I did say that I'm in a relationship, but in the grand scheme of things, we haven't been together that long. And if I ever was going to consider getting married, then I would take it very, very seriously and I would wait until we've been together for quite a few years. So absolutely not. No plans on getting married anytime soon. Bentley Bro asks, will you be doing Depend On You in Japanese? Depend On You is a Hamasaki Ayumi song that I covered for my first album, Translation. It was titled Depend On Me because I had the opportunity to rewrite the lyrics in English. Now, at the time, the song was recorded in both English and Japanese, and when we sent the song to IU for her approval, she actually preferred the sound of it in English, which is why that version made the album. So it has already been recorded in Japanese, it just never got released. He also asks, do you see your fans as friends or just as fans? Now, because you guys interact with me so much, I do try and make an effort to get online every single day and respond to all of your messages and comments and check in with you guys. So I genuinely consider you more of a musical family than just anonymous people on the internet. XO Ow 3 says, hey again, I was wondering what tools, equipment and such do you use to make your music? My setup is heavily dependent on propeller heads Reason. It's such a powerful DAW, and because my music is quite often electronic based, it's perfect for me because of its built-in synth modules. For my orchestral work I use the Vienna Symphonic Library. The quality of it is amazing. It is quite extensive, but it is worth the time and the effort because the sound of it is just so big and grand grand and realistic. And I know a lot of other composers use it as well when marking their scores, like Danny Elfman. They also add, don't forget to visit America someday, which links to the next question from Choo-Choo-Dee-Doo! Have you ever been to the United States, and if so, what was your visit like? I have spent quite a lot of time in the States, particularly on the West Coast in LA. I still have quite a few colleagues out there. There was quite a long period where I was promoting in Japan, and my ex, who I was with at the time, lived in LA, so I was kind of bunny hopping between the UK, Tokyo and Los Angeles, and I loved it. I really love America, but I would like to take some time to see more of America, particularly the East Coast, because I've always wanted to go to New York, but I've never had the opportunity to go yet. John M says, I'd love to hear your explanation of the meaning behind more of your songs. This is a really good point, and this is why on the Defying Gravity Deluxe DVD, we included a track by track where I talk about all the songs on the album and the meaning behind them and how they were produced. So if you guys like that, I'll do that more often in the future. Filippo Manfredi says, did you actually like the song Dreams and Absolution? This is a really good question. Dreams was one of the rare occasions that I sang a track that I wasn't directly involved in the production and arrangement of it. So when Tomoya sent over the final version, I really wasn't that keen on it. And I hold my hands up, I was wrong about that. You guys love it so much and you guys can't be wrong, so I admit that I was totally wrong on that call. That kind of explains why I wanted to do it again on the 2011 version that I did for Translation 2. I wanted to produce and arrange it in the way that I would have done and kind of put my own stamp on it. Han asks, do you know Kung Fu? No, I don't know Kung Fu, but when I was younger I did study Aikido, which is a Japanese martial art that focuses on self-defense. Lisa has 2 food-related questions. First up, what is your favourite Japanese food and what is your favourite Japanese dessert? I know it's really cliche, but I do genuinely love sushi and sashimi, but I also love donburi because I have such a massive appetite. I need to get some rice in there, otherwise I feel really, really hungry straight away afterwards. And desserts, if you talk to anybody who's spent a considerable amount of time in Japan, they'll probably agree with me that Japanese desserts, they always look amazing. The presentation is spectacular, but they never seem to taste that great. So if I had to choose one, it would probably be good old Japanese green tea ice cream. It's amazing. She also asked, do you like to cook? If so, what's your favourite thing to make? I don't think I'm a very good cook, so I don't like to cook. People say that I'm not as bad as I think, but I think because I'm such a perfectionist, if things don't turn out as good as I hope they would, which they often don't, then I get really disheartened and I don't want to do it again. So I generally don't do that much cooking, and that's why I don't have a favourite dish that I like to make. Michelle's back. She asks, what is your middle name? If you're asking me as Ben, I don't actually have a middle name, and maybe I should, so maybe you guys should send in your suggestions and yeah, we'll come up with a middle name for myself. That would be cool. Sade asks, will there be a Translation 3, and if so, will certain anime songs be released on the album? Now of course all our focus is going to be on Defying Gravity for a while, but I can confirm that Translation 3 is on our release schedule. It has a release date, it even has a partial track list, but I can't tell you anything about that just yet, so be patient and all will be revealed. Tristan says, have you ever been on live concert, and do you plan to do any live concerts in the future? Assuming you mean have I ever done live concerts, because I've been to lots of concerts. I have done quite a lot of live shows now, and especially in Japan a handful of them have been televised, but because the production companies are so strict, I can't share them with you in full, I'm not allowed. But once Defying Gravity is released, and now that I'm back in the UK, I do want to do a lot more live shows over the next 12 months. Tessellating Hexagons asks, I think it's been asked before, but what are your thoughts on taking part in the Eurovision Song Contest? Yes, it has been asked before, and I think that's because I'm a European artist who's making primarily pop music. I honestly haven't given it any serious consideration, especially since being in the UK. There is quite a lot of stigma attached to the Eurovision Song Contest, mostly because most Eurovision acts, they just don't do well here in the UK after their exposure on Eurovision. Plus, I'm really not keen in all the politics that are involved in the voting process. While I agree it is a great platform for exposure, it's just something that I genuinely haven't given serious consideration to. That's about it for now. Keep your questions coming with the hashtag AskBen, and I will check them all out and get episode 3 ready for you very soon. In the meantime, my forthcoming album, Defying Gravity, is now available for pre-order from BentleyJones.com, so head on over there now to grab your copy. We will be announcing the release date very, very soon, so stay tuned. In the meantime, I will check in with you all again later. Bye-bye!